to Down Your Unders. Down Your Unders. Review and dissection of content from some of the sharpest minds in the game. Hosted by Adam Camilleri. Art of War. Down Under.
Hello, lovely denizens of the 41st millennium. Welcome to the first of what will be 3 banger weeks of Art of War Down Under. This is episode 198, and we are on the choo-choo train to 200. Next week, we will have a review of either the missions or the new secondary cards, and then the week after, for episode 200, I'm going to have the wonderful Nick Nartavati on to help me review the Adeptus Sororitas Codex, because he was on my show for episode 1. So that is only fitting that for 200 we go back to where we started and we kick it off there. But that's not now. Today's the day of Ascension, baby. The Great Uprising has started, and I'm joined by the incomparable Dusty Boy himself, Dustin Henshaw. Hello, mate.
Hello. Thank you for having me on again. Always a pleasure to be here.
My absolute pleasure to be doing more content with you, mate. We do a show together called the Warhammer Meta Chasers, which goes live every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Standard Time, Eastern Standard. And you should go and jump on that and watch it, because we review the biggest and best events that are coming up, do full meta breakdowns, list breakdowns, and then we have a beautiful spicy patron where you can get another part 2, similar format to this one, because if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it, where we look back on the week's events, what won, what didn't win, and unpack one of the top 10 lists, usually one of the spicier ones. We don't go over, it's Bully Boys again ad nauseum every single week. We go over, should there be a Votan or Demons list or something spicy, cool out of left field that's doing well. We try and unpack it. And also we have a little bit of a competition, Dustin. What do you want to tell us about how that works?
Well, the competition of us actually guessing who is going to be topping each of the events, and then scoring ourselves based on who gets first, second, third. We get points based on how well and how high up you predict, based on faction, obviously not players. And the teams do the same kind of thing, and then we compare that every week and see who's winning. And there's I'd say there's one that's got a couple wins under their belt.
I don't know that guy though. We never met him. He's the mystical fourth host.
Never.
It's myself, Dustin, and the wonderful, incredible, one of a kind Paul Murphy. So please come over and join us there. Warhammer Meta Chasers for all that goodness. But Dustin, you do some other stuff, notably with the Rizzy. The Ridvan Martinez himself.
The Rizvan or Scary, for those of you that are not familiar with his real name, which I wasn't for the first couple of years that I knew him. I'm not going to lie. I only knew him as Scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do that with Stud or Scrub every other week as well. On Wednesdays, we record that. So we cover all of the meta stuff as well. Our list changes, our thoughts on the meta, where it's headed. And we have Q&A as well. So it's fun. It's 2 people that are faction specialists in very, very unpopular factions. So
it's perfect. It's
perfect.
It's amazing, Jank. If you liked last episode where it was very much an anti-meta, counter-meta episode, that's just the brand of these guys. They live exactly and breathe that competitively week by week. So go and check out that goodness. But that's not what we're here to talk about, mate.
There's so many things that we're not here to talk about, but
I know, we got some 4-armed Emperor goodness. The Genestealer cults are getting their Codex for 10th edition. This, of course, is going to be a 2-part podcast. Catch the second part over on Patreon at Art of War Down Under, where Dustin and myself will be writing lists, answering some listener questions, and doing some cool stuff there. Because we're both NDA'd up, so Dustin has had a couple of games with this Codex already in testing with the beautiful Scarred one himself. So you can catch that content coming. So I think they're going to be bat reps. So that'll be a good stuff to catch over on Scarredcast also. But time for your hot takes, mate, of this Codex. What are your first impressions? What are your hot takes? If you're wondering why we're doing it in this order, there's a very good reason. Mostly because it lines up with episode 200, which I'll get Sisters for Nick, because he's been playing Sisters a bit, but also because we're starting off at maybe the low point of this 3-pack release by Games Workshop, which is an absolutely incredible weekend. It's going to completely revamp the meta once again. But so my hot takes is that good detachments, why did they do that to the data sheets? That's pretty much where I'm at.
That's the detachments are actually pretty cool.
They're spicy.
I'm a fan of the detachments. The data sheets got wrecked.
Yeah,
just absolutely nuked. There's I think 2, 3-ish that improved, and then not.
Yeah, so they took a lot of the mainstays and toned them down, and they took a couple of the outliers and toned them up. They didn't, in my opinion, they didn't tone up the outliers enough to really shake things up, and they hit the staple units harder than they deserved. This seems very similar, and the allegory is going to be out there in the meta a lot between them and Custodes. It seems like a book that GW was afraid to make good.
I think that's actually a good way to put it, because there's no way they went into this thinking, this will be able to compete. Like, everybody will be able to compete with this. I'm not saying that you can't compete with this, because you absolutely can. I will be going to tournaments with it. It's still good, but comparatively to everything else that's come out, to be able to compete in the meta that we have right now, you're on hard mode.
Yeah,
you are on hard mode.
Well, it's been the story for Genestealer Cult since their inception. They've never been, in my opinion, fair and balanced. It's either been oppressive or a non-contender. Is the two states that they've existed in.
Yes,
I do believe
falls under.
I'm gonna state this loud and proud at the start. This review is without any knowledge of points, without any knowledge of because the points could be so juicy that this doesn't matter, and it will have to be. The points will have to be very generous because of the nerfs that they have taken on the data sheets. Yeah. So we will have to wait and see where that comes out, and we'll just review it based on face value, what we have in our hot little hands right now. But let us jump in. My man, Cult Ambush is still the army rule to many chagrins and or potency. Tell us about this. What has actually changed here?
So the big thing, well, I guess to go over what Cult Ambush was before. So Cult Ambush is the big thing where you roll your dice whenever a unit dies, a non-character, non-vehicle unit, and if you roll a 5-up, +1 if it's battle line, plus another 1 if it's round 1 or 2, they will respawn as a blip, and at the end of your opponent's next movement phase, they will respawn completely. It used to be that it's always respawn, which obviously was broken.
Yep.
Changed that, so now it's been okay. There's actually some play to it. So there's some counterplay to it. It's okay. It's one of these things that I don't feel like it's not broken and it's not useless, because when it does come back, it is definitely game impactful.
Yeah.
When multiple come back, it is devastating.
Overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
So this is my inherent issue with GSC. I've got a feeling because they felt strapped to this rule of recursion, of just permanent army-wide recursion, that they were afraid to let this faction fly. And I wish they gave, they just changed and gave him a different army rule. Gives Crossfire back. Crossfire was sick.
I loved Crossfire. That was so much fun. It was so interactive. Like, I actually loved that rule. This one is just like it feels like either like it goes off and like, okay, game over, or it doesn't go off. Like, okay, I guess I play the game I would without free points.
I'm Spicy Guardsman. If this doesn't work, I'm Spicy Guardsman. If this does work, I am an unending swarm with good guns. Yeah, and that's pretty much the two allegories.
So it comes down to basically, like, because the battle line got an extra point, like, or extra plus to the roll when you come back, the neophytes and Occults already being the best data sheets in the Codex was like, all right, well, I just spam these. They have a better chance of coming back. They do the most damage. Makes more sense. That has changed. You no longer get the +1 for being battle line anymore.
Oof, so gut shot.
Yeah, gut shot. So now it's like it's a gut shot. I don't mind it as much in terms of, because we'll get to the data sheets, and the neophytes and Occults did take a hit anyway, but I don't mind it as much because it felt I hated being beholden to always taking all this battle line. Whether I had other stuff like, wow, the battle line comes back easier. It's just like, it feels more like I should be spamming this kind of stuff.
Well, now you're less incentivized to take battle line, but then crazy incentivized to take battle line because of the possible changes in the mission structure. So, it
was like, this could be cool. And then, come on.
I would like to also note they have enshrined that when you do recur your units, they come back with any one-shot weapons the models were equipped with and considered to have not been shot. Yeah. So no more back and forth on that, because we've had it we've had that ruled every possible way it can be ruled, and now it's very clear what GW intend and how we're supposed to play it. So that is good, at least.
That is good. Unfortunately, we'll get to that.
All right, let us jump in and do the first of the detachments, because we have quite a bit to get through here. This is Host of Ascension. Perfect Ambush is the detachment rule. Each time a Genestealer Cult unit from your army is set up on the battlefield as reinforcements, until the end of your next fight phase, weapons equipped by models in that unit have sustained hits 1 and ignores cover. So this is the index detachment. Yeah. Yep. I just wanted to reiterate that one for people as a detachment rule so people can get the context. Yep. But feel free to TLDR this one. What has actually changed in this detachment?
Okay, so unfortunately, there's some It's the strats. Some of the strats got hit hard, so we'll get to that one. But other than that, it's their enhancements also changed. So a lot of the index attachments from other codexes, they get touched too badly. They were okay, except Custodes, obviously. This one, it got hit hard.
Yeah,
it got hit hard.
It got a little gutted. So go unpack it for us.
So the Prowling Adjutant remains the same. It's still the reactive move whenever you attack the upgraded reactive move when you move within 9 inches. That was the same. Chink in their armor is now a new one. I believe that one replaced the Vec that we had. Actually, the rest of them are different, technically. So, chink in their armor. This one is Genestealer cult models only. Each time the bearer is set up on the battlefield as reinforcements until the end of your next fight phase, ranged weapons equipped by the model and the bearer's unit have the lethal hits ability. So, this is actually a good upgrade for the Primus because rerolling hits, like all hits to get lethals, that can be pretty good. Next one is Our Time Is Nigh. Genestealer, well, only obviously once per battle. When the bearer's unit declares a charge, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 2 charge rolls made for the bearer's units. Plus 2 to charge once.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. And the last one is Assassination Edict. So each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack, that targets a character unit, add 1 to the hit roll. So you'll notice we do not have a Vect anymore, which we didn't take that often, which so not. How we don't have the free heroic in this detachment. The biggest one though is we lost the infiltrate and the extra.
Yes, massive
hurts.
loss.
That hurts.
Yeah,
that hurts. But it's the strats.
Let me just, I'll give people the points. So Prowling Adjutant is 15. A chink in their armor is listed as 35, which is quite high. Our Time Is Nigh is listed as 20, and then Assassination Edict listed as 25. So a pretty big spread there in points. No real, 10-pointers, no double 15-pointers.
I will point out, too, the Prowling Adjutant went up 20 points according to this.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah. All right, tell us about the strats.
All right. Coordinated trap is, I believe it's exactly the same as it was before. It's the select 2 Genestealer units from your army that have been not selected to shoot or fight, and it's +1 to wounding at something. Yeah. Same thing. And it is still battle line, yes.
Still good.
Battle tactic. So it's still good if you have 2 Nexos, and Primed and Ready is another one. So you're shooting phase of the fight phase. 1 Genestealer cult units from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes an attack, critical hit is scored on unmodified hit roll of 5 instead of a 6. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yes.
That is definitely good because we have a lot of ways to reroll our hits.
Correct.
We have a good way to reroll hits. Tunnel crawlers. This is the same thing. I think it's the same. Yeah, it's a little bit different. So this is the 3-inch deep strike, but it's different. So you're moving phase 1 Genestealer cult unit from your army that is arriving from using the deep strike ability this phase. Your unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 6 inches horizontally away from all enemy units, or more than 3 if it's battle line, which is fine in the sense that we generally used it on demo charge squads.
Acolytes,
That one, I'm okay with that because most of the time you're going to use it on the battle line anyway, or at least you should now. But it does kind of suck, and obviously you're not allowed to charge when you come out of that. Then we have Lying in Wait. So this is your opponent's movement phase. Now, is this the one I'm thinking of? Yeah. So your opponent's movement phase, once you use their cult battle line unit from your army and cult ambush until the end of the phase. When setting up a unit using cult ambush marker, set your unit up anywhere on the battlefield wholly within 6 inches of that cult ambush marker and not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. That's good.
It is very good.
That is very good because that actually lets you not get really screwed out with your blips. You can get some really cheeky plays with that one. I like that one. That one's good.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that hurts the most, though. And I want to get your opinion on it too, Adam. So this is Return to the Shadows. This is one of our best strats that we had. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy has shot 1 Genestealer cult infantry unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Remove your unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. So now
that's wild.
It's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. This is not so. All these other ones, like Grey Knights, whatever, you get shot at and you can just go off the board. This one, you get shot at. You take the damage from the shot.
Correct. You have to survive. You have to survive the shooting.
That's unbelievable. That is
the So the issue here is that you used to be able to infiltrate a unit of aberrants with this army, and that would have been a great use for this. As in, someone lines up their whole army to try and wipe the aberrants, and then after the first activation, you pop it off the table and they've wasted the rest of their shooting phase. But you can't do that anymore. Nope. And aberrants have taken some interesting changes, which we'll unpack when we get to them.
We'll get there.
Yeah. And so now the best case scenario is you have a massive unit of neophytes that lose half their squad to the first activation, and then you bounce off before they can finish them. And for a CP, when you have recursion built in anyway, I'm not sure it's ever going to be worth it.
Yeah, like that's atrocious. I'm so mad about that one. It's
the fact that it's after they have shot them.
It's
after,
at least it was before they shot.
The only case point I will say is if somebody's going to charge you with, say, a bunch of sword brethren, 10 sword brethren into your best unit, and they decide to shoot the flamer pistols, and you were like, lol, gotcha, off the table. But then a good player is never going to get got by that twice. It's never going to get got by that twice. That's it. That's the whole play. Like, that's the best you got.
It's infuriating. I hate this. This strat makes me angry, like physically angry.
It's just, What's the last one? What's the last
one? Is a deadly snare. So when your opponent's charge phase just after an enemy unit declares a charge, once you circle infantry unit from your army that was selected as the target of that charge, roll a d6. On a 2 to 4, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 5+, that enemy suffers 3 mortal wounds. So can I swear on this podcast?
Seamus will bleep it, so go nuts.
Fuck off.
That is a trash level.
God,
that is a trash level mortal wound strat.
It's so bad.
Yeah, 1 CP for a conditional D3. On a 1, it still does nothing. On half, so literally from 1 for 2/3 of the time, it either does nothing or D3 mortal wounds, and 1/3 of the time it does 3 mortal wounds. So 1 CP. We have 1 CP like tank shock that can just spike and do 6. We have 1 CP.
We could do grenade. With our Goliath trucks way more than this.
Correct. This is a bad rate for the D3 mortals.
So for those of you that are familiar with the index right now, Adam, do you notice the very glaring missing strat that we no longer have here?
Which one?
Cannot be shot outside of 12.
Yes. Yeah, there's no loan up in here anymore.
That's
which is huge.
That hurts.
Which is huge. That's the biggest.
We lost the going back into strategic reserve because we got I'm not even going to say it.
Well, you have to be shot at to go back into reserve.
And you have to survive shot at.
Your opponent just is like, well, I'm just going to kill you with my chainsaws.
They gave us extra durability, right?
Right.
Right.
Fair. Well, let's dig up from the salt mire we currently inhabit and get onto greener pastures. Because this is the very similar to what happened with the Custodes Index detachment. Because the Custodes Index detachment was very strong, and this one was already very strong and very well rounded. And I believe they've gutted it in order to make some other detachments actually shine, because they realized they gave too much.
This one is like, it's really good for the Acolytes and the Neophytes. Well, we'll get to why that doesn't matter later.
As much.
As much.
All right. Next up, Xenocreed Congregation. And we're going to go back to our tit for tat review. So I'll read one. Dustin will read one. This is unquestioning fanaticism as the detachment rule. For each Acolyte hybrids, hybrid metamorphs, and neophyte hybrids unit from your army, while one or more character models are leading that unit, you can reroll advance and charge rolls made for it. If that character model is a Magus, Primus, or Acolyte Icon Ward, that model has a Feel No Pain 3+ ability while leading that unit. So it makes them very durable against precision attacks. Well, actually, does it even make them that durable versus precision? Because anything that I can actually precision out these very squishy 4-wound characters for the most part.
3 wounds.
Not going to say 3 wounds. It's not going to save them. What about the first part of this, where you reroll advances and charge rolls?
That's not bad. So
it's not bad, is it?
Rerolling advances and charges is not bad. So I'm trying to figure out what this is supposed to be. I think this is supposed to be Pauper Prince. I think this is what it's supposed to be.
Very similar, yeah, correct. Yeah. Where it's the mobile version. Tell us about the first enhancement.
So the first name is Genestealer's Reliquant. So Magus, Primus, or Acolyte Icon Ward model only. You can reroll Battle Shock test taken for the Bears unit.
10 points. Lol, never heard of you.
Yeah, never heard of you. Next
Denudicator of Tyrants. Magus, Primus, or Acolyte Icon Ward. Denunciator. Apologies. The Magus, Primus, and Acolyte Icon Ward are the same for every one of these enhancements, which makes sense. Each time model in the bearer's unit makes an attack that targets a character unit, add 1 to the hit roll and add 1 to the wound roll. That is very good.
That's good.
Very good. And that will run you 25 points. The previous one was 10 points.
Yeah, this is way better.
This is auto take.
For sure. Auto take.
Yeah.
Next one, Deeds that Speak to the Masses. Yeah, this is Pauper Prince. Once per turn, when rolling for a battle line unit for the occult ambush army roll, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you can re-roll the result. That's very good. That is very good.
4+ rerollable on turn 1 and 2, 5+ rerollable turns 3 to 5. That is extremely good. Worth it every time.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is
that is only 15 points. Wow.
That is not low take. Wow.
Yeah. 15 points to, just get one unit back, and then you're probably you're probably more than 100 points up.
Yeah, that's once per turn, not once per battle. It's once per turn.
Once per turn.
So that's
very nice.
Very good.
Those are two incredible enhancements already.
So we're looking good so far. We're looking good.
Incendiary Inspiration. The bearer's unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced.
That's also
issue
good.
being, what are you joining that to? Like, what is a good place of the units that we have who have it reroll advances and reroll charges to place that? So that's hybrids, acolytes, metamorphs, and hybrids. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have some combos for that one. We can go to that after we start reading the data sheets. But yeah, keep that in mind because that is actually good. I like that one for sure.
Very good enhancements.
Yes.
The 20 points. So you just set aside 60 points of your army because there's 3 detachments, 3 enhancements you are going to take.
Those are the 3 you want. That first one is just, I'm glad it's bad because now you don't have to decide what 3
you don't have to think about it. There's no decision point. All right, what's the first stratagem?
First stratagem, Vengeance for the Martyr. So that is in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just after an enemy unit destroys a Genestealer cult unit character model from your army. And you target one other Genestealer cult character model from your army until the end of the battle. Each time a friendly Acolyte hybrid metamorph, or Neophyte hybrid model makes an attack, specifically, that targets the enemy unit, re-roll a hit roll of 1. If the destroyed model was a Magus Primus or Acolyte Icon, you can re-roll the hit roll instead.
So, Oath of Moment. They have to kill one of your characters, but then you slap Oath of Moment on them.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, this attachment is meant to take all of this battle line and metamorph.
Tons of very kill me now, kill me please characters. Yeah, it's cool. That's a good strat.
Yeah. So what's the next one?
Frenzied Devotion. This is a fight phase. It is a battle tactic and 1 CP. It is a Acolyte hybrid metamorph, Neophyte hybrid unit. We're just going to call that the battle line 3 for the rest of this because
battle line 3. Yeah, sure.
Every single freaking detachment.
Although our metamorphs battle line, I don't.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll remember that when we get down the data sheets.
Those 3 units. Those 3 characters, because Magus Primus and
hybrids 3. There you go.
Yeah. Unit from your army that's not been selected to fight this phase until the end of the phase. Improve the attacks and weapon skill characteristic of melee weapons by models, excluding characters in this unit, by 1, and they have the hazardous ability. So 1 CP for +1 attack and +1 to hit.
That's
very good.
That is very good. That is very good.
All right, what's the next one?
Next one is Tireless Fervor. So in your charge phase, the hybrids 3 unit from your army that is not declared a charge this phase until the end of the phase. Your unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn at which it advanced or fell back. So you don't even need the enhancement right now.
Don't even need this enhancement.
When doing so, if the target's an enemy unit with the engagement range of 1 or more friendly character units, you can re-roll the charge roll. Wait, can you already do that already?
If you were taking one of those hybrid 3 units, you already have re-rolls charges. But if it was any other unit, now you also get if they're the second thing to charge, like if you want to chuck in a Rock Grinder as well as a unit of the hybrids 3,
right? They don't have a character trait with them. Okay, all right. I mean,
not bad. Another source of advance and charge, fallback and charge is not bad at all.
I'm never opposed to that for sure.
No, Transcendent Celerity. This is a 1 CP in your shooting phase. One of the hybrids 3 units from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. And to the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped on models in your unit have the assault ability. So they can advance and shoot, and they'll have reroll advances as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Not bad.
Yep. Next.
The Downtrodden Rise. Oh, I like the sound of that one. End of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. If you have no cult ambush markers on the battlefield, 1 hybrid 3 unit from your army in cult ambush. This phase, you can set up your unit on the battlefield without using a cult ambush marker. When doing so, set up your unit anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches horizontally away from all enemy units, not within your opponent's deployment zone, and wholly within 9 inches of 1 or more battlefield edges.
So how does this actually work? Give us the logistics of this.
So end of the reinforcement, let me read it to make sure I do this right. It's the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. So generally, this is when you would reveal your blips.
Yeah.
But this is if you have no cult ambush markers on the battlefield.
Yeah. So how have they gone into reserve and not generated you a cult ambush marker?
I'm actually trying to figure out the logistics of that.
That's why I pretty much asked you, because logistically in my head it doesn't make much sense.
Oh, it's basically if you have something in reserve already, you
Strat
can bring
reserve.
It's basically a rapid ingress.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It is a rapid ingress. That's fine.
A 2
That's
CP
fine.
rapid ingress.
Yeah,
it's expensive, but I guess it has play.
Well, if you do both, you could be doing both. You could 3 CP
both,
have a play to break a flank because you have double rapid ingress.
Yeah.
I suppose if you have 2 of them, then the second one should probably cost a little bit more because it can be backbreaking. Hello again. This is a addendum to this detachment, that being the Xenocreed congregation. We read one of these stratagems incorrectly and dismissed it. That being the downtrodden rise, which I'll now read again for you and explain how it actually works, as explained to me by Dustin Henshaw, who's now gone to sleep because it was 2 a.m. when we finished recording. Thank you, Dustin. But it's 2 CP at the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase if you have no cult ambush markers left on the battlefield. 1 Acolyte hybrids, hybrid metamorphs, or neophyte hybrids unit, or the hybrid 3 units from your army in cult ambush. This phase, you can set up your unit on the battlefield without using a cult ambush marker. When doing so, set up your unit anywhere on the battlefield 9 inches away, usual terms and conditions. So he has explained to me that it's things that die and are in blips are in cult ambush. The blip going away doesn't kill them. So the strat lets you, even if you have no cult ambush markers, or your cult ambush markers get removed, for 2 CP, you can still bring in units without them. And apparently, according to Dustin, that is a very good stratagem and insurance that you can be a little more cavalier with the placement of your cult ambush markers, knowing if you have no CP, you have the insurance. So apparently that's an incredible strat. So apologies for the addendum. We read it completely wrong the first time around, but always happy to clean up after ourselves. So hopefully Shamos will chuck this in at the appropriate time and no harm done.
Yeah.
Last one is Path of Anguish. This is 1 CP. It's in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has shot. 1 of the hybrids 3 units from your army that had 1 or more models destroyed as a result of these shots. Your unit can make a normal move up to D6, but it must end that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit, excluding aircraft. When doing so, models in your unit can be moved within engagement range. This is a Blood Surge. So 1 CP Blood Surge. Not bad. Can be really janky, especially if you're putting people in neophyte jail and then they do a little plink shot and you just tap their whole front line.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not bad.
Good detachment, man.
Yeah,
I think this is a good detachment.
Obviously, this is way better than the other one. So right now, this is number 1. This is
absolutely number 1.
Obviously, you're going to be relying a lot on like neophytes, some acolytes, and it looks like some metamorphs in here too, which isn't a terrible thing normally because those should be the data sheets you're relying on, right?
Yes, indeed. So this seems like trying to make a bit of a horde of a horde go good, a bit of an infantry horde.
For sure. Especially like with that reroll, come back. That's
that's the money. And then a +1 hit, +1 a wound.
Yeah.
And then +1 attack, +1 weapon skill as well. So you can actually make even just neophytes hit really well.
Yeah. This one's actually I like that one. Like this is a good one. This is a good one. Number 1 right now.
Number 1 right now. All right, next up is a Biosatanic Brood Surge.
There it is, everybody. This is the one that everybody's going to be going towards. I tell you right now, this is
spicy. Hypermorph Fury. Add 1 to charge rolls made for aberrants, biophages, and pure strain Genestealer units from your army. In addition, each time such a unit is selected to fight, if it made a charge move this turn until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons equipped by this unit. So +1 attack, +1 to charge, army-wide on aberrants, biophages, and Genestealer. So not army-wide at all. I apologize.
Army-wide on these 2 units.
Army-wide on these 2 units and 1 character. Does the Abominant have the aberrant keyword? I'm assuming it must, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't.
You know what? Well, I'm gonna have to check in this data sheet because we might have changed.
I will quickly have a look. You tell us about the first enhancement.
The first enhancement is Predatory Instinct. So an Abominant, Biophages, and Patriarch. Waddle in this bear's unit have the Infiltrator's ability. So here's and once per battle round, you can target the bear's unit with a heroic intervention stratagem for 0 CP, and to do so even if it has already targeted another unit with this stratagem this phase. So here's our free heroic. It is now attached to the Infiltrate, which is there we go. They're now our aberrants can infiltrate in this detachment. So they're back. They're here. You can still do it. Obviously, you're not going to put this on the Patriarch. I guess you could if you want the free heroic, but they already infiltrate. So I hope
the Abominant does not have the aberrant keyword.
No. Okay. So, but the aberrants do. So if he joins them, then he still gets the +1. He just doesn't get the +1 attack, which is
he doesn't +1 attack.
Wait,
Yeah,
does
it
he?
might be a
Part of the unit,
balance
though. This is unit.
consideration. Yeah, it's true. That's true. We will see. How do you feel about that first enhancement?
I mean, I love that. That is, you need that because average
30
is low.
points.
30 points. That's what it was before. You know what? That's good. The heroic is actually fantastic.
Yep.
Like free heroic is fantastic, and infiltrate, depending what you put it on, obviously. But the aberrants are juicy.
Well,
juicy.
this is why they took it. This is why they took it away from the next attachment, so they could give it to the attachment where it makes.
It's fair,
more
but they already took away enough from the other one. But anyway,
Yeah.
what's the next one?
Biomorph adaptation, abominant or patriarch model only. Improve the armor penetration and damage characteristic of the bearer's melee weapons by 1.
It's back.
Do we still have dev wounds on our
patriarch?
We do. So it'll be damage 3, 5 attacks
that is
at a damage 3.
Spicy.
Twin linked dev wounds. Not bad. Not bad at all.
We like that. We like that.
And it will run you 15 points.
Auto take.
Yep, slam it.
Put it on a patriarch every time. Just even by himself. He doesn't even need to be with pure strength. You probably will, but
yeah, you probably
doesn't need to be.
What's the next one?
Mutagenic regeneration. So abominant biofidus or patriarch model. In each command phase, the model regains 1 lost wound. Okay. So it's good to have one that we know we don't want to take.
We don't want. Yeah, you do not touch this.
Yeah.
That is 20 points for some reason.
Oh my god. We definitely, I didn't even like it was 5 points. I'd be like, but 20 points. Oh my god. Don't even touch it. Don't go near it.
Alien Majesty is the last one. A bomb, Biophagist, and Patriarch model only. While an enemy unit is within engagement range of the bearer's unit, subtract 1 from the objective control characteristic of models in the enemy unit. I quite like this one.
Yes,
on a unit of this one is nice. On a unit of Genestealers with a Patriarch, just scuttling around and just denying objectives. This means that even if you don't kill them, even if you underroll, you can still flip objectives very well. I think that's very good.
That one's very good. So again, good to have one.
And that one's 10 points.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Done.
It's amazing for 10 points.
Done. Just done.
Still 3 very good ones here. The damage one is depending if you're going down that skew. I think it's still very relevant, but that'd be my 3rd best. I'd definitely be taking Predatory Instincts and Alien Majesty 100% of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the first strat?
So far, so good on this one. I'm liking it. All right, so the first one is Evasive Vanguard. Any phase just after an enemy unit ends a move within 9 inches of one or more of your cult ambush markers before removing the markers from the battlefield. So 1 pure strain Genestealer unit from your army in cult ambush. Select one of those cult ambush markers. You can move that cult ambush marker up to 6 inches. If that marker is still within 9 inches of one or more enemy units, it is removed from the battlefield. Otherwise, until the end of the phase, you can only select pure strain Genestealers units from your army to set up using the cult ambush marker. So
that one specifically.
That one specifically, yeah. So I mean, it definitely has play. I do like the jank that they're giving us to save our blips because it is something that we can struggle against fast armies to save them a lot of the time. However, our stuff is not coming back that often, so this could very well be a very never used strat if you never roll a 4 up or 5 up.
Correct. This is a get out of jail strat. And
it's a get out of jail strat.
We shouldn't pretend it's anything else. This isn't a proactive strat. This is oh crap, I didn't see that coming. I need to save this unit. And it's good for that purpose. But we'll see if it actually gets much play.
Yep.
Next up is Saintly Paroxysm, 1 CP. It's in the fight phase just after an enemy unit destroys a Genestealer cult's character model from your army. That destroyed character model. You can use this stratagem even though it was just destroyed. Roll a d6 on a 2+. The enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. If that character model was an abominant or patriarch, the enemy unit suffers 2d3 mortal wounds. You're never going to use this unless.
Why is GW so hard on for these dumb mortal wound strats that cost CP?
You will use this if it takes the last wound off a Knight Lancer or something. Otherwise, keep it on the shelf, or if you've got an absolute surplus of.
Okay, so far the detachment rule good, the enhancements good, strats not looking so good right now. Right?
Yeah, suck.
Next,
all right. Yep.
Gene Twisted Muscle. Okay, this has to be good, right? It sounds good.
It's a battle
Fight
tactic.
Phase. Well, it is a battle tactic. That is good to point out too. 1 aberrant biophagist pure strain Genestealer unit from your army that is not been selected to fight this phase until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle, add 1 to the wound roll for 1 CP. Fantastic.
Needed. Very, very, very needed. Your pure strains can actually crack like light vehicles now pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
If they can take them from winning on 5 to winning on 4s, or even 6s to 5s, could be very good. We will now be calling it the Punchy 3. for the
Punchy
aberrants.
3. Okay,
Pure
done.
strain,
The Punchy 3.
The Punchy 3, because we're going to read out that on every other strat as well. But that's extremely good. That
one's
strat.
very good. So far, we finally got a good one. All right, cool.
We got a banger. We got something to work with.
We got a banger, yeah.
Hyper Metabolic Vigor, also a battle tactic, 1 command point. It's in the fight phase. The Punchy 3 unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a pile-in or consolidation move, it can move up to 6 instead of 3. In addition, if it does so, it does not need to end that move closer to the closest enemy model, provided it ends as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. This is a very good stratagem. I've found there's a couple of different ones. Inner Circle Task Force has an enhancement that just puts this on a unit. And I found this gives you back a lot of the jank we lost in the 9th to 10th transition.
Yes, which in a close combat detachment, it's very important to have this kind of jank.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like the pile and consolidation moves are now just kind of on rails. You don't get much decision point in it. You just have to do and meet the terms and conditions of it. This gives you a huge amount of flexibility, especially if you were to use it on a big unit of Genestealers. You can just swing that tail out, tap and trap a bunch of stuff. I think is really
which again will point out this is a battle tactic. However, I'm also going to point out
it's only a downside, right? In this book,
only a downside.
Yep, I was going to get that. I was going to get to that at some point, but I wasn't ready.
I have to do it now because I'm cringing. But because you have Nexos to give you the free strats, right? But it can't join aberrants or pure strains.
Nope, it's only a downside in this detachment, baby. It's rough. What's the next one?
God. Next one is Stimulated Biosurge.
Also a battle tactic.
Also battle tactic. Well, you know what? I got to start. So they can be vected. All right. That's super. Your charge phase. One of the punchy. It has not declared
Punchy 3.
Punchy 3 that has not declared charge this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time your unit declares a charge, if the closest eligible enemy unit is selected as one of the charge targets of that charge, add 1 to the charge roll for each selected target of that charge to a maximum of +3. That's very good.
So think about how these two last stratagems work together. So you declare a charge on 3 units from reserve, having a 6-inch charge from reserve, if they're all within 9, of course, which might not be the case. But then you do 6-inch pile and consolidate, and you just go wherever you want after meeting the terms of those charges. They work together extremely well, and I think this strat is a bread and butter.
So again, that means you are getting +4 to charge potentially.
Correct, because you got the +1 built in.
That is insane. That is incredible.
I think it's a really good strat. I don't see it being +4 very often. Charging a good opponent letting you charge 3 units with 1 unit of only 10 guys, 11 guys with a character.
But the thing is, now that you can do it out of Deep Strike, it's actually worth doing a 5-inch charge if you can do it. Right?
Well, it's a 7, dude. It's a 7 from reserve for 1 CP. It's just a 7 from reserve, and that is damn fine. If they let you charge 2 things, it's a 6 from reserve. 3 things is a 5 from reserve. That is extremely good. But once again, the better the opponent, the less likely they are to get bad touched.
But I mean, you'll be able to get a 7.
Correct. You can get 7s on demand, which is really good.
That's right.
By Horror Revelation is the last one. Great name. Let's see if it's a great strat. 1 CP. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, one of the punchy 3 units from your army. Until the end of the phase, each time an enemy unit within 9 of this unit is selected to shoot, they must take a leadership test, subtracting 1 from the result. If the test is failed until the end of the phase, each time one unit makes a attack that targets the unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Yikes. I hate it. I hate it.
So we went from getting the Nurgle strat to saying, you know what, Genestealers are durable enough. Let's get them -1 to hit if they fail a leadership test.
So we all have smoke. We all have a reactive, just -1, no terms and conditions, no extra hoops for people to jump through. This is trash.
This is trash. Absolute trash. A CP to maybe get -1 to hit.
I mean, it's only for the phase as well. If it extended from the shooting phase till the end of the turn, like if you're going to be shot and then charged by something, maybe there's a case point for it. But this is awful. It's terrible strategy.
It's absolutely terrible. So, in conclusion on this detachment, the detachment rule, great. Some great enhancements. Half of the stratagems are actually really good. The other half are utterly useless.
Yeah, correct. So +1 to wound against monsters' vehicles, extremely good. 6-inch consolidate and pile in, and then better charges there. 3 really good can be used every single turn stratagems, and the rest I'd never want to read them again.
Yeah, so honestly, it's you know where your CP is going to go, which is nice, but it's also very predictable then, which is a little.
It is. Your opponent knows exactly the only 3 things that are worth doing for your army every time.
Like when they ask you what are your stratagems, just read those 3. Don't
those 3. Don't even worry about the other ones.
Don't worry about the rest of them.
Don't worry. All right. The next. But still, on the whole, I think it's a good detachment.
It's good. It's still better than the Index, and it's worse than the Pauper Prince one.
Well, but it's on.
I keep calling the Pauper Prince one, but
arguably, it's on more proactive units.
It's
much more of a pressure build.
I rank it below the other one, but it's still
I rank it below because it's less well rounded. It's ostensibly just a melee army. You get no buffs if you aren't charging and punching people. There is nothing for you in this detachment if you do not charge and punch. Whereas the other one's much more well rounded. The Pauper Prince pseudo one. Sure. All right. Outlander Claw. This will be Rusted Claw. Rapid Takeover is the detachment rule, and it is a banger.
This
double. Yes. Double the objective control characteristics of Genestealer Cult mounted and Genestealer Cult vehicle models from your army. In addition, at the end of the command phase, if one or more Adelan Jackals units from your army are within range of an objective marker you control, that objective marker remains under your control, even if you have no models. So sticky objectives on Adelans, you are just taking 3 max squads of Adelan Jackals in this army. There is nothing else to do. And then this is the mechanized infantry list. Double OC on the vehicles. It's like going to OC 6 on a bunch
Ridge
of
Runners are OC3 right now, so they'd be OC6. That's insane.
This is great. What's the first enhancement?
First one is Serpentine Tactics. Genestealer Cult mounted unit, so your bike alphas basically. The Bears unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. I mean
10 points. And for 10 points,
that's you take
if you're putting people in Jackal jail, you're going to get charged, and this might come up. Cartographic data leech. Genestealer Cult model only. While the bearer is embarked within a transport, each time that transport is selected to shoot until the end of the phase, improve the ballistic skill characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by the transport as a result of the firing deck ability. So only the firing deck. So only the actual guns. Meh.
Okay. It does have play, and I'll get to play later if we remember, because it does have play. It's definitely not great.
I don't see the guns on the transports aren't so OP that they were going to be nuts if one of them got +1 ballistic skill. I don't see why it's restricted to just the firing deck. 15 points, so it's not too expensive.
Yeah, so it's not bad.
Next one
is the Starfall Shells, which used to call meltage again your alphas. In your shooting phase, after the bearer has shot, will select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks made with a cult sniper rifle until the start of your next shooting phase. Each time a model in that enemy unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So, objectively, this is actually great. Practically, it's not worth the points.
Fair.
Because
why do you say that?
It only hits on 3s.
It's 20 points. That's correct. Oh, yeah. If it hits on 3s.
And it has to hit in order to get this buff. So you're paying 20 points for a decent chance to give something -1 to hit. But at the same time, if you're shooting with an alpha, you're wanting the reroll 1s to hit so you can kill it. So it's, like I said, objectively, it is good. 20 points, I don't think it's practical.
Okay. So far, enhancements are not setting us on fire. Last one is Assault Commando. Genestealer Cult's model only. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes a ranged attack, if it disembarked from a transport this turn, you can reroll the hit roll. That's not bad.
It's not bad. However,
25 points.
Yeah, that hurts. See, that's not bad. But however, this is not... It's good for demo charges.
Demo charges aren't what they were, but I still think they're good.
Yeah, so it's good for demo charges. It's because Neophyte Squad's 10 man's it's nice, but you have to have a character with a 10 man. This is it's. So honestly, you take Serpentine Tactics and call it a day. I think so. Yeah, I think so. There are like cases for the data leech one and the assault command you could justify, but honestly, the fallback and shoot is just you take that every time. Yeah. The rest of them are like
weakest enhancements so far in this codex.
For sure.
Yeah,
however,
strats. Let's go.
Strat. Oh, this is what I'm talking about here. So, along hallowed trails, when any phase after an enemy unit ends a move within 9 inches of one or more of your cult ambush markers, one Adelan Jackal's unit from your army in cult ambush. Select one of those cult ambush markers so you can set up that cult ambush marker anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches horizontally away from all enemy units and wholly within 6 inches of one or more battlefield edges. Until the end of the battle, you can only select Adelan Jackal's units from your army to set up using that cult ambush marker. This is another one of those get out of jail free cards. However,
so much better.
But so much better because this one can go anywhere. So this one allows you to be aggressive with your blitz. And force your opponent to go out there and say, "Oh, I'm not there anymore."
You tried to turn it off, and you just kind of deep strike.
Yeah,
You kind of missed of Demos
yes,
the
exactly.
Cult Ambush marker.
Absolutely
This is so much
fantastic.
better.
The problem is, again, you have to have the bikes back to do that. Like they have to
Correct.
come back from a blip. But again, if you do, this is phenomenal. This is
I agree. All right, Devoted Crew's up next. This is a battle tactic for one command point. Your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. One Goliath truck grinder or truck that was selected as a target. Until the end of the phase, subtract 1 damage from that attack.
Minus 1 damage.
So minus 1 damage, 1 CP.
I think all these are 1 CP in this detachment too.
Yep. It does have quite a few battle tactics. So, but sorry, half of them are battle tactics. This one is good. It's fine. You're going to be happy when you have it. Good reactive defensive strat.
Yeah.
What's next?
This is another great one. So, close range shootouts. Your shooting phase, one Genestealer called mounted or Genestealer called vehicle unit from your army that is not selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the lethal hits ability when targeting enemy unit with an 18.
Yep. So 18-inch lethal hits, close range. Yep.
It's not great, but it's good.
Yeah.
I have no problem with this one. No complaints here. Next one.
Totally fine. That was a battle tactic, as we said. Rapid Feint, 1 CP again. In your opponent's movement phase, just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move, 1 Ridge Runner or Jackals unit from your army that is within 9, you can make a normal move up to 6.
We get a reactive move on the bikes in the the Ridge Runners.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
For this army, and for putting people in Jackal jail when they try and you move up, you advance, and then they move up, and then you move into them again and just lock them down even harder, or move away and make the charges very long. This is an extremely good activator, very janky and perfect for this army.
Very good. Yes.
Bread and butter, baby.
Bread and butter. Oh, here we go. Deft maneuvering. When you're in your opponent's shooting phase, just have an enemy unit selected as targets. 1 Achilles Ridge Runner or Adelan Jackal unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more attacks. 4 pinball. The shooting.
Yeah, baby.
Hell yeah.
Once again, a battle tactic with no way to make it free, right? Because you can't take a Nexus to either of these. But it is a very good strat, and you will slap CP. Down. You will slap it down.
10 or 11 if you have the Alphas in there with a 4-up invuln. Oh, and they are stealth now.
Correct. Stealth built in. Yeah, I think it's extremely good. The last 2 strats are saving this detachment for me. Encircling the Prey is the last one. 1 CP. It's at the end of your opponent's fight phase. 1 Genestealer Cult's mounted or vehicle unit from your army that is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units and is wholly within 9 of the battlefield edges. Remove your unit from the battlefield and place it in strategic reserve. So end of your opponent's fight phase, you jump off, and then of course you go into your turn and you come back on. This is an amazing strat, and you should be planning to use this
every turn. Like, the fact that you can do it on vehicles is insane.
Yes, that's the big bit.
That is insane. So
I love it. I think it's really good. I think there are like even the along the Mr. I'm going to call it Mr. Demos for the cold ambush marker, the first one. That's very good. Devoted Crew's fine. It's a reactive -1 damage. Lethal hits, just to add a little bit more if you're shooting someone within 18. The beautiful reactive move, the 4+ invulnerable save, and going back into strat reserves. These are 4 very good strats, very usable, very viable.
So far, I think this is the best strat group that we have.
It's the best suite. Yeah, the best strat suite we've had.
Yeah. Fantastic. The cults rule, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, dude.
Enhancements, absolute garbage, but everything else about this is so good.
It's so good. This is going to be a very fun army for Genestealer cult players to play.
This is one of the ones that I was playing. I love this.
Possibly very frustrating for everybody else. I remember playing into 30 Jackals at the start of the edition, and those games sucked. That was rough. And now all those Jackals are double OC. That's going to be legit. That's got to be legit. Just for even just in teams, like if you don't know what to take for your Genestealer cults player, slap them on this and say, don't get 20'd, because they really can't. They can flip any objective on the table on demand.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
And the way that the reactive move helps you flip objectives as well, like people remove to respond and then you move towards them and just take their objectives. It's really cool. All right, we're up to the last one. Brood Brothers Auxilia. Everyone knew this was coming.
Everyone knew it was coming.
There's a bit to read here for the detachment rules, so I'll just give it the go. Each time an Astral Militarum unit from your army is selected to shoot, you can select 1 enemy unit within 18 of and visible to that unit. If you do until the end of the phase, models in that Astral Militarum unit can only target that enemy unit, and only if they're an eligible target, and that enemy unit is caught in overlapping fire. While an enemy unit is caught in overlapping fire, each time a Genestealer cult model from your army targets that unit, add 1 to the hit roll. So your Astra Militarum units act almost like marker lights for your Genestealer cult units.
That's... Yeah.
And here's where the Brood Brothers rule exists. You can include Astra Militarum units in your army, even though they don't have Genestealer Cult's faction keyword. And the combined points total of such is denoted below. Up to 500 points in incursion games, in 2,000 points strike force games, up to 1,000 points, half your army can be guard. And then onslaught games, 1,500 points. No Astra Militarum model from your army can ever be your warlord. And they lose the voice of command ability, so no orders. You cannot include units with the following keywords in your army. Aircraft, Commissar, Epicuro, Militarum Tempestus, Ogryn, Rattling, Tech Priest, Engineer, Minister, and Priest. So all the auxiliary, pretty much. You just get the basic, like, guard good stuff, which is fine. I mean, there's plenty of amazing stuff in there. Not being your warlord and not getting voice of command kind of sucks, but then you get to use their pseudo army rule now is to acting like the marker lights for the rest of the army. How do you feel about this? Because I actually feel this is not too bad.
I actually really like this. I think that I've been playing some guard and enjoying it. So the ability to bring this together, and now that they're actually having some really good synergy finally again, I'm looking forward to it. I think it actually has some play. But let's look at the rest of it to see.
Well, I think the only omission here that actually hurts is the Scions, is not having military.
It does hurt not having Scions.
That would have been the great thing, is to deep strike down, shoot a couple of bits at, just a 5 Scions to buff up shooting for, the rest of the army against a target. That would have been a really flexible and good way of doing things. And without, I guess without like the +3 move for move, yeah, the guard army might actually feel a little plodding, a little slow. Comparatively, but I still don't think
to be fair, though, it says no voice of command, but that doesn't say Castercan can't order.
Oh, yes, they should be able to order themselves.
There you go. This is why you listen to this show, guys. You're welcome.
Okay, well, that might need an FAQ, but I think that works. That's pretty clear how that's going to work. They get to give themselves an order. Yeah, they don't have the. Yeah, okay. What's the first stratagem? Enhancement.
Martial espionage. So Jesus called infantry model only once per turn when a friendly Astra Militarum infantry or Astra Militarum mounted unit within 9 inches of the bearer is selected to shoot. The bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, till the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristics of range weapons equipped by the models in the unit by 1. So pick a GSC infantry. Well, no, pick the Astra Militarum infantry or mounted unit and it gets +1 AP.
Fantastic.
How many points?
Yeah, it's good. 30. So this is on the pricey side because it is a big buff. It's
good. It is definitely good.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's 30 points good. We will wait and see about the rest. Adaptive Reprisal. Genestealer Cult's infantry model only. Once per turn, you can select a friendly Genestealer Cult unit within 9 of the bearer with heroic intervention for 0 CP. Probably not going to make the cut in this one.
Probably not. But it has play.
10 points only, so not bad.
Okay, I mean 10 points. That's not bad.
In circling back to the first one, you do get access to Hellhounds to ignore cover and Lehman Russ Exterminator to give an extra AP. So you can really stack up on one target really well. So I think that might be where the combo lives there. What's the next one?
Next one is the Hero Return. Oh, I like the sound of that. Jesus called infantry model only. Improve the leadership and objective control characteristic of battles in that unit bearer's unit by 1. That is not what I was hoping it would be.
So improve OC of the bearer's unit by 1, essentially, because leadership, who cares?
Yeah.
It's not bad for 15 points.
It's not terrible.
It's 20 neophytes or nothing, though, for that.
Yeah, having them with 3 OC, that's okay. It has play.
Yeah. Firepoint Commander, Genestealer Cult's infantry model only. Each time you target the bearer's unit with the Fire Overwatch stratagem, you hit on 5s. Not bad either.
Not bad.
And it is 20 points for that. So, I mean, obviously the Martial Espionage is the increased AP is the best one, but 30 points is quite steep. I would much rather 20 or 25 for it, but still it might be worth it. What is the first of the strats?
The first strat, in the Shadow of Iron. When any phase of the stress after the enemy unit ends, a move within 9 inches of 1 or more of your cult ambush markers. So we got a lot of play with cult ambush markers. They're really expecting us to roll. I don't think any of these guys have played GSC because you never actually get that many blips back. But anyway, target is 1 Astra Militarum vehicle unit from your army. Select one of those cult ambush markers. You can set up that cult ambush marker anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches horizontally away from all enemy units and wholly within 6 of your unit. So we have a lot of things to save these blips.
It's a third version of the same rule. And this is not the best of them.
It's cool that you guys are trying to give us some cool little ways to save our blips. Then can you give us more blips?
No. You're not allowed to have more blips.
we have all these cool strats around them. Like, but whatever. Anyway,
if you bought the special edition pack that came with your 12 blips, that's it. That's all you get forever. If you lose them, too bad. No more blips.
I have so many blips.
All right. Next one is regimental reinforcements, 1 command point. This is not a battle tactic. Your opponent's shooting or the fight phase just after an Astra Militarum infantry regiment unit from your army, excluding artillery and character, is destroyed. That infantry unit you can use this stratagem on, even though it was just destroyed. Roll a d6 on a 3+. Your unit is placed into Cult Ambush, and you can place 1 Cult Ambush marker anyone on the battlefield that is more than 9 horizontally away from any enemy units.
Well, how about that?
one CP on it to a 3+ re-rack an infantry unit. Not bad, man. Because that could be 20. That can be 20 Deathcore or Kriegsman.
That could be 20 Deathcore. It could be your Castrican. Like that. That give us the okay. Now we can actually play with called ambush markers a little bit more. The 3+ hurts, but 1 CP is like that's worth it.
Exactly right. 1 CP is fine. I pay 2 CP for 100% chance. 1 CP for a 2/3 chance.
Yeah,
totally fine.
That's fine.
You will build this into your army.
Oh, for sure.
You will just build this into your army.
Although it sucks that it's you don't get it with artillery.
Yeah. Stop. Cease. Stop.
Hey, guard, get it. And we can't do it with the sentinels.
Shush.
Anyway.
All right. What's the next one?
Suppress and overwhelms. When you're shooting phase, just after an Astra Militarum unit from your army has shot, the target is the Astra Militarum unit. Select 1 enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks until the end of the turn. That enemy unit cannot be targeted with fire Overwatch stratagem. And each time a Genestealer cult unit from your army selects that enemy unit as a charge, you can reroll the charge roll.
Sick.
For 1 CP, turn off Overwatch and you reroll charges. That's fantastic.
1 CP, turn off Overwatch would have been good enough.
Yeah, exactly. The other was like, oh, cool. They reroll charges. All right.
Yeah, someone's trying to bully you with a Land Raider Redeemer. No Overwatch. Wrap it with 20 dudes. Forget about it.
Yeah, totally any Astra Militarum unit. So like, that is actually you put that on like a mortar.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Boop, no Overwatch.
Amazing strat. And the rerolls to charge, just cherry on top, baby.
Yeah, just cherry on top. It was, like you said, it's worth it just for the no Overwatch.
Correct. Next one is 2 CP, acceptable losses. It's in your shooting phase. 1 Astra Militarum unit from your army. Select 1 enemy unit within engagement range. I know what this is.
Oh,
1 more Genestealer cult unit from your army. Till the end of the phase, your unit can make ranged attacks against that enemy unit. If it does, after it has resolved the attacks, roll 1d6 for each of those Genestealer cult units. On a 5+, the unit being rolled suffers D3 mortal wounds. It's not that bad.
This is so good.
So
good.
So this is the other way around than what you would think. I would have thought it was Genestealer cult units can shoot into combat with guardsmen, but it's not. It's the other way around. Astra Militarum units can shoot into combat with Genestealer cult units in,
and you notice,
which is much better. I'm sorry to say, much better.
Hit.
It's any Astra Militarum unit from your army. It can be a tank commander. And the only downside you can take is on a 5+. You suffer D3 +1 mortal
wounds.
Oh no.
Oh no. D3 +1 mortal wounds. You can be firing like a bunch of las cannons in there, killing a Titan, and then 2 Neo.
Don't roll a 5. And everyone turns out everyone didn't get hit by the demolisher cannon. The pie plate hit none of them.
It is 2 CP, but it is very good.
Dude, you could shoot a whole Baneblade into a combat.
You
and
could.
Not hit any of your own dudes.
You could.
Not hit any of your own dudes. Literally, like leveling a building's worth of firepower, and like your 5 Genestealer cult models are like just walk out fine. It's so funny. And it's not even a -1 to shoot into the combat.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even -1. It's crazy. This is so good.
Yeah, this is totally worth 2 CP. All right. Symbiotic Destruction's up next, mate. You got it.
So you're shooting phase 1 Astra Militarum and 1 Genestealer cult unit from your army that have not been selected to shoot this phase. Select 1 enemy unit that is visible to both of those selected units within range, and at least 1 range weapon of each of them until the end of the phase. Models in those units can only make attacks against that target. I'm guessing this is when doing so, each time such model makes attack, re-roll a wound roll of 1. So instead of it's basically the coordinated trap with the +1 to wound, except it's re-roll wounds of 1.
1 CP. Buff. For only rerolling once.
Yeah,
I'd much rather be +1 to wound, +1 to hit, anything.
Yeah,
just rerolling once.
It's 1 CP, so it's like it'll get used every so often, but
Yeah. All right, last one, a Dark Network, and this is the last stratagem in the Codex. This is 1 CP. When in the enforcement step of your opponent's movement phase, just after an enemy unit is set up on the battlefield from reserves. So just after they set something up. 1 Astra Militarum or Genestealer cult unit from your army within 12 of that enemy unit. you can make a normal move of up to 6 inches. So when they deep strike or rapid ingress onto the table, if they come within 12, you bug out.
That's
6.
Pretty insane.
I love it.
That is pretty
very
insane.
much. Well, what I love it for is not to bug out, but to bug on. It's
Bug
when
on.
people, when you put. So what you do is you put one idiot on an objective, and the rest trail back behind the wall, and then they try and 3-inch deep strike 3 Inceptors on it, and you're like, well, here's 10 guys now. And you have to shoot and kill that target. They could have been lining up to kill a tank with their plasmas, lining up to do all sorts of stuff. You're like, well, now you have to shoot here. You have to shoot here. And even then, with that Oath of Moment, you might not get them.
Yep.
If it's a plasma squad, 3 of them doesn't kill 10 guys. They just don't have enough shots. They don't actually have 10 shots. So, yeah, no problems. I love this strat. So this is actually a very good detachment.
Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, because there is quite a few well-priced and well-placed guard units that work very well in here, especially the Kassakin. Even at 120 points, Kassakin self-buffing and having recursion on a 3+ is really quite nice.
Mhm.
I love the idea of 20 Krieg infantry in this army. I think that's really, really good for this.
For sure.
And yeah, I'm a huge fan. I think this detachment might be my favorite. I don't think it's the best. I think the Pauper Prince one is possibly better. I'm not sure how much people will love the fact that this can be a 50-50 Genestealer Cults Brood Brothers list. That might not be what a lot of Genestealer Cult players want. They might just rather, 400 or 500 points of it, like maybe a couple tank commanders or bits and pieces. But there are no restrictions. You don't have to take like a character and a unit of infantry to fill this out. You can just
which is nice.
You can just cherry pick the bits you want out of guard. There's no, structure to this command, this detachment, pseudo detachment, which I think is very open ended and very juicy.
Yes, I'm very happy with that. So, if you had to rate these ones in terms of order, how good they are, where would you go?
We're doing this on part 2.
Okay, sorry, don't do that.
Yeah, we're going to rank the detachments on part 2, baby.
All right,
because we actually have far too much to go still.
I do these too much.
You do. I know we do love it. But it's time to crack onto the data sheets. Now, I'm going to let you lead me through this because I do not know what has changed as much as you do. Oh, I don't know the minutiae of what has changed. I know the big stuff that's changed. So let us jump to the first of the big changes, mate, in your mind.
The big changes, or you want me to go through every data sheet?
No, we don't have time for that. The big changes, the ones that people need to know.
Okay, well, demo charges.
Yep. So acolytes. So they've broken up the acolyte data sheet now. By the way,
they did split that up. So there is actually the quote unquote ranged acolytes with the flamers and demo charges, and then there's the close combat ones with the just auto pistols and the mining weapons that are now strength 5, -2, 3 damage. So they lost a lot of strength, but they did get anti-vehicle 4 up. So
it's
whatever.
Nice.
It's nice, but whatever. But they are the ones that when they're on an objective, they regain your CP on a 4 up. Neophytes no longer do that. Neophytes now do sticky.
Yeah, which I think is really good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's very good. Tell us about demo charges. What changed?
Okay, so demo charges used to be D6 plus 3 shots, strength 12, -2, 2 damage. Sorry to tell you guys, it is now flat D6. There's no +3. Still blast, but flat D6 and strength 9 instead of strength 12.
So lost 3 pips. So lost 3 shots, 3 guaranteed shots, and 3 pips of strength. And yet I still think you're going to want to take them.
Oh,
the good thing about this now is that they don't need to point this unit into the freaking sun because of its damage potential.
Let's hope. For the love of God, please don't. You hit them. They're dead. Good job. Now, for the love of God, don't bury them.
Let them be okay. Because it's still a very good weapon. It's still a very. It's just no longer a ubiquitous. I will kill everything in the game, no matter what. It's still a good weapon.
But the other thing is actually with the acolytes, though, that those ranged acolytes, because they have a different ability than the other ones, they don't give the CP, but instead of rerolling hits of 1 and then rerolling 1s to wound on an objective, they always reroll 1s to wound. But now they reroll all wounds if they're on the objective.
Yeah.
Which means you put a Primus with them and they attack something on an objective, they're rerolling all hits and all wounds.
Yeah. Which for clearing objectives is actually kind of better than it was.
Yeah, which means you're also going to have the flavors of that squad too that are doing
mostly because I assume they're going to be less points.
I hope so. That's the other thing too, because the flamers, the 10-man flamers, that actually wouldn't be too bad because they will always reroll wounds on an objective. It's not terrible. That's not terrible.
All right, moving on to neophyte hybrids. Of course, they now have sticky as their special rule, which I think is quite good. What did they have before? Sorry, I know you said
they were the ones that regen the CP on a 4+ when you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is better. I think Sticky is much better for him.
Sticky is much better.
And falling in line with what GW is doing, where like the majority of everyone's baseline in their head, core of their army, is getting Sticky, which is, Orc Boys got Sticky as well. So it could be this is just a theme we're going to start seeing.
Which is fine. It's great, too, because now that we even need to survive our shots before going off the board, it's good to Sticky the freaking objective we're standing on.
The bitterness.
So annoyed at that.
Love it. Seismic cannons is where I know the big change happened. What happened?
It wasn't a huge change, but it was big enough to hurt. The shot number went down to only 2. Still rapid fire 2, but it's 2. However, they did gain heavy.
Nice. I'm not sure when that's going to come up, but I'm sure it's...
I'm not sure it's going to come up very often, but they got it.
Yeah, fair. Any other changes to their weapons?
The mining laser went down 2 pits of strength as well.
Strength.
It also got heavy.
Yeah, it's not quite a las cannon anymore, which makes sense to me. I don't know why they're getting las cannons in the mines.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's like everything else that there's pretty much stayed identical. So it was just the seismic cannon took 2 less. It gets 2 less shots now, and the mining laser got a hit on the strength,
which is rough, very rough. What is another one that changed?
Another one that changed. Okay, I mean, for the better, for the worse, because we're gonna go for aberrants. Then let's go for aberrants next.
Yeah,
because they no longer get 4-up feeling the pain. They have a 5-up feeling the pain, which fine. I mean, fine as long as you point them appropriately. Fine. I hate 4-up feeling the pain, but if an arcoflagellant remains tougher than an aberrant.
Love it.
We're gonna have an issue.
That's correct. Well, we'll unpack that one when we get to it, mate. You'll have to tune in. But yeah, aberrants have been. Did their offensive profile change? Were they always 7-2-2?
No, they were not.
Yeah.
They used to be 8-2-3. So
much worse. So they're legitimately like 50% worse.
They got slapped.
Yeah. Well, the only hope is that they went down in points.
If they went down, if they're like 120, 130 for 5, fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. If they stay the same, they are a dead unit. They suck.
Because that is very important. Aberrants need to be playable for that one detachment to be playable.
Correct. If aberrants aren't playable, it is detachment Genestealer. And literally you have 3 units of 10 Genestealers, and that's it. And then you have the rest of your army does not benefit from any of your freaking rules. All right. What is another one that has changed?
The Abominant also changed because going along with the aberrants there, so he also got the 5-up feeling the pain. The 4-up. He did get an extra attack, so he's been slowly gaining an attack every edition. He went from 2 to 3 and now to 4. He's slowly gaining it.
So what? You're saying by 15th edition he'll be
by 15th edition he's going to be amazing.
9 attacks.
He's so good. Yes, 9 attacks 15th edition. Mark my words, it's going to happen. His abilities did change a little bit. He no longer gives sustain, so now it's the chosen one of the spell is leaving each time the model and then is destroyed. So he gets fight on death on a 4-up now instead of sustain.
Yeah. Which I think is fine.
It's fine.
It's not better. It's not worse. It's just kind of
And then he still has his get back up on a 2-up as well. So.
Actually, it's worse. With the damage output of the aberrants going down, they needed the sustain now more than they did.
They did. Yeah, I thought you meant this one was way worse. Yeah, it is. It's fine, but it's like this actually would have been better before.
Next change that you can think of.
Off the top of my head, like I was saying before, bikes did get stealth, which is
and I think bikes are incredible. Again,
bikes are actually very good, and
Scout 9
that detachment is so good. I love the detachment.
Dude, Scout 9 stealth, recursion, reactive move, 4+ invulnerable save. It's just a house. It is just a house.
It is a house. Their demolition run got hit again. Now it's actually capped at 6. It wasn't capped before. But
no sympathy.
Yeah, it got hit too many times. It is only in your movement phase. You can't. So there's no with your reactive moves and stuff. You can't trigger it again. However, it does specify it is normal, advance, or fallback move. Now before it was only a normal move. So now advancing and falling back.
I seriously have always thought the fix for that was to let them use grenades for free, similar to
Saboteur.
Similar to Saboteur.
I mean, I like this.
Just let them use grenades for free.
That means I can do 2 different kind of grenades. Move up, bomb.
Well, they can already grenade and do the demolition run.
Yeah, so this is better. Don't change it. It's better.
No, this is better. Exactly right. Right now is better.
Oh, and the other change was only half the guys in your squad can have power weapons now instead of all of them. Like, I don't like whatever.
Yeah, they won't. Whatever. They won't do anything combat anymore.
You know what? Don't say that because they actually did stuff for me. All right, that -2 is a big deal.
Yeah, not convinced. It's fine.
Anyway, yeah.
Any change for the better? Any other change for the betters we can think of?
For the better, yes, there are some changes for the better. I mean, the Ridge Runner, the flare launcher is it flare launcher? Yeah, flare launcher now lets you do smoke for free.
Nice, that's good.
I still don't think you'll ever take it because spotter is better if you want to do damage with them, and survey auger is better if you want to ignore cover. So
I agree. I do think, unfortunately, and people are going to hate me for this, and I'm going to hate me for saying this. I think there is a possibility now that the Brood Brothers detachment is possibly the best indirect army in the game now.
Ooh, I mean,
1,000 points at guard artillery plus as many ridge runners.
Oh, don't do that! Don't do that.
Stacking pluses to hit, stacking extra AP, stacking. Yeah, it's a bit yucky, and I have some fears. But as long as ridge runners are 200 points each, it's fine.
Wow.
They won't be. They won't be.
They won't be. They won't be.
Did hybrid metamorphs change? Because they're one of the units that I think is going to see actual use now.
They did change. They actually got really good. They're one of the ones that got a glow up, which is nice, as long as they're pointed appropriately. So the big thing they always had Scout 6, which is great. They gained a 5-up Feel No Pain now, which is phenomenal because they also gained surge moves.
So like Zerkers, if you shoot them, they'll come towards you.
Yes, but the difference here, because you can give them flamers, which is great because you can use flamers. But if you give them all pistols without any flamers in there, they auto surge 6.
Oh, that is really good.
Yeah, and if you give them an icon ward, they have a 4-up Feel No Pain instead of a 5-up.
That's busted. Yeah, that's good. It's their only toughness 4 5-up save.
Yeah,
with single wound, so they're not Arco Flage.
But they still do. They still respawn if they have the icon alive and stuff. But the big
very respectable.
It is respectable because the icon ward now has a 6-inch scout as well. Joining him with that squad, if they're in a Goliath, the Goliath will get the scout.
Yeah, I like it a lot, man. In the Pauper Princes, there where they get all the buffs, I think that's a good unit.
If I'm being honest, like metamorphs in Goliath trucks should be a mainstay in like every single GSC list now.
Yeah, that's the first unit. Sorry, and when we say Pauper Princes, it's Geno Creed Congregation.
Yeah.
Apologies,
but
Pauper Princes is so much easier to remember than Xeno Creed Congregation.
Yeah, it's gonna be the
forgive us
detachment for forever.
Yeah. Forgive us.
But yeah, that was a good one too. So
that's, but yeah, like I was saying, that's the only unit I've seen so far that wasn't good that will be good, and I'm excited about that.
Well, there is one unit that is a favorite of mine that I feel has actually got a pretty good upgrade.
Lay it on us.
The Kellermorph.
Really? Because I had a look at him and I wasn't so enamored with his gun usage. Tell us about it. Why is it so good?
Let me put it this way. Like, he had his gun upgraded. All right. So he lost to Sane D3, which sucks. He lost his precision. Sucks. Still has 6 shots. Still ballistic skill 2. But instead of strength 5, 0 AP, he's strength 6, -2. So that's big. Now, the other one, he still has low NOP, so he can't shoot him outside of 12. However, once a turn, when you end a move within 12 inches of him, so you have, in order to shoot him, you have to do this. You move within 12 inches, he gets to shoot you and then move. And if you're infantry,
battle shock.
You take a battle shock.
And cause a battle shock. That is pretty good. That is actually a very good defensive.
It's an uninteractive really low NOP.
Yeah.
It's actually really good. The only way to play, only plays around this is like deep striking and coming in transports.
Holy crap! Yeah, actually, he's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, fair. Really good. Yeah,
that's why you put me on here, Adam.
That's it. Well, yeah, obviously.
This guy, I love this guy.
Are there any more of the 97 random ass characters that are good now that were bad?
That were bad. The Sanctus has a reactive move built in now too, and there's two different rules for the close combat and the shooty one. The shooty one still picks a unit, rerolls all hits and wounds against them. If you end the move with a 9 of him, he gets a free 6-inch reactive move, so that's not bad. That one specifically doesn't say that you can't go into a transport. The Kelomorphs does say you can't go into a transport. I'm gonna take the fall for that one because that is definitely my fault. I did that a lot. So
interesting with the Locust. Did the Locust always give 5 first before?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Locust hasn't changed.
Locust plus Metamorphs might actually be pretty good now.
Locust plus honestly, and I've played this now that I've tried it. The Primus and a Locust, because the Locust can join with a Primus. Primus and a Locust joining a Acolyte demo squad.
Oh yeah, okay.
Now it's rerolling all hits, all wounds with demo charges. Has fights first if you charge it, and the Locust and the Primus all reroll all their hits and wounds too.
All right, so last thing we will do before we check out and do our ratings system, the brand new character, the Benefictus. This is toughness 3, 5+ save, 5+ inbound, 3 wound. So literally paper mache. He's got a psionic cascade witchfire brain attack. It ignores cover and psychic. Only range 18. One shot, hitting on a 3, strength 12, -3, d6 +1. So 18-inch one-shot laser cannon can be overcharged to go focus witchfire, which is hazardous, ignores cover, psychic, for 2 shots at the same profile. It can be attached to Acolyte hybrids, hybrid metamorphs, and neophyte hybrids. Its special rules, of course, has deep strike. Whilst this model is leading a unit, ranged weapons equipped by models in unit have lethal hits, so that's not bad. And once per battle at the start of any phase, this model can use this ability. If it does until the end of the phase, this model has a 4+ invulnerable save instead of a 5+. This guy better be cheap as hell, because otherwise I think he's pretty awful.
Yeah, he needs to be very cheap. There's not many things you want to actually join him to. Now, in the Rusted Cloud attachment, there is some play with him.
So can he be joined to the same squad as a Primus so you can give lethal hits rerolls to hit?
Nope.
There we go. That would be what he needs. Because right now you're giving him 4 rerolls to hit to have 1 las cannon and lethal hits, and I don't.
But again, he does have some play because if you have him in there, you can have a couple of them in there. If you have a couple of Goliaths in there with the +1 ballistic skill.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
or if they get out of there and one of them, because only one of them needs the upgrade, and then all the stuff in there can fire all their guns at +1 ballistic skill.
I get that. Actually, yeah. You just have
and then the truck can go in and out of reserves.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There's play. There's play.
I love the idea of the fact that you can just take 9 lone up characters in this army: triple Sanctus, triple Saboteur, triple Calomorph.
Yeah, you could
and
before.
Just be frustration incarnate.
I should mention too, because that was another minor change. Saboteur's bomb range is now 9 instead of 12, which is huge. That is actually
good.
Great.
Screw that model.
Very annoying.
I hate it. I hate the Saboteur.
Annoying. And the Rock Grinder no longer does mortals on the charge. Now it just makes you take Desperate Escape from infantry if you try to fall back.
Yeah, that's a bit. Yeah,
he better gone down even more.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like we said, overall the data sheets is a pretty big down. Like Aberrant's got
majority
unwarranted nerfs, and they need to be priced appropriately. Both neophytes and acolytes hit significant nerfs on their damage outputs.
Yep.
On the reasons you were taking them, damage charges are not a ubiquitous, world-ending asset, and now neophytes do nowhere near as many shots, so they've lost a couple of shots from range.
And all these free strats you could give yourself before can't be joined by Nexus, but it's okay because the Nexus doesn't make it free anymore; it just makes it -1.
Yay! To a minimum of 1? What?
No.
To a minimum of 0. Good.
Minimum of 0 still. No.
Good.
I actually double checked that when you said that. Like, no.
Yes, you better say, oh, gee, that guy's dead, deleted. Your DJ Nexus is, out to pasture. But it's time for us to rate this codex. So this is a codex of 2 halves. We went through the detachments, and there was 3 of them we quite liked. That being the Pauper Prince one, the Creed, the Xenoform Congregation, the Punchy one. Actually, there's 4 I like. Actually, I don't love the Bio-Satanic Brood Surge as much as other people will, I think. I like the Xenocreed. I like the Rusted Claw, that being the Outlander Claw, and I really like the Brood Brothers. I think there are 3 very legit detachments, and then 2 middling detachments. They're just too pigeonholed for me. Like the Brood Surge one is only merely cannot do. There's not a single thing in there to enhance any shooting of any stripe. And I think Genestealer Cults very much operates similar to Guard, where they need to be all of it coming together at the same time.
Yes.
Because you're not World Eaters, These data sheets are not wielding as data sheets. You're not wielding that deadly Amelie army.
No.
So, my man, out of 10, how happy are you, and do you believe Genestealer Cult players will be with this book?
How happy do I believe Genestealer Cult players will be about this?
And how happy you are with it out of 10?
Okay, well, I'd say for everybody else, it'll be a 1 out of 10.
Yikes.
Yeah. Like this is atrocious. But I give it an extra point for myself because it means less people will be playing it.
You're such a hipster. You're such a freaking Genestealer Cult hipster. Dustin Henshaw with his latte and his flannel.
That's right.
Just lording it over with his unplayed faction.
I love being an unplayed faction. I love it. It's so, and I mean, there is definitely play in this Codex. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's completely unplayable, and I'm going to play the hell out of it. But in terms of like, if you're comparing to other ones, it's man.
The issue is, we're comparing this to the last couple of books that have come out, and this is way more on the Custodes end of things than it is on the freaking Orc or Chaos Space Marine end of things.
Yeah,
like you can't even argue.
They hurt our good stuff too much and did not glow up our bad stuff enough at all.
Yep, I agree with that. In fact, I give it one more point than you. I give it a 3 or a 4 out of 10 because I think, and this is me, taking some copium, just a big old swig of copium right now. If the points are low enough, this army can be quite good.
I agree with that.
That's my hope.
I don't think it'll be low enough.
I don't think either. I realistically, like I said, big swig of copium. If the points are perfect, this army will shine. If anything else than perfect, and it's going to be a non-event.
If the points are perfect, I will give it the same rating as you. But
All right, my man. Where do you think this book will end up in the competitive scales?
Right where it is now.
What, B tier?
Yeah, no, I think it's like C tier, isn't it?
Yeah,
actually, it might have dropped the spot because it lost a lot of its more straightforward plays that made it have a bit. It kind of, I think it artificially increased its win rate a little bit because of it, because it was just really easy to bring 60 neophytes and a bunch of demo charge units and just kill them.
If I stand back from this book, actually, if I stand back from this and just look at it, no detachment in this book is as powerful as the index detachment was.
Nope. Not even
straight up. Not even close. And the units got worse.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. C tier.
Yeah.
Apologies. I was going to give it B tier if the points are perfect, but even if the points are perfect, there will still be a reduction in overall power. So it can't move up from where it was.
Nope.
Yikes. All right, guys, that is going to bring us to the end of this review. Hopefully it was gentle on your souls. We didn't hold back. We try and tell it how it is. And
you didn't tell me to hold back.
Impressions. No, I never tell you to hold back, mate. I never would. Never. Would take away everything that's made this show, worth listening to for 200 episodes, I hope. But my lad, would you like to plug your wares once again before we check out?
Of course, we always listen to us on the Warhammer Meditations every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with both of us and Paul Murphy, and Stutter Scrub every other Wednesday. We have a podcast going out. Just search Stutter Scrub anywhere you can listen to podcasts and listen to two faction specialists playing, well, in this case, a C-tier faction, but we're going to make it work.
You are going to make it work. Thank you so much, my man. We're going to go over and record part 2, going to answer a bunch of listener questions, write some lists, and rank these detachments. So see you there if you're all at all interested. If not, stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Actually, in a couple of days from now, a couple of days, I'll be releasing the mission review, because this will be coming out on the weekend of pre-order. And then, next Tuesday, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be a review of the missions. I don't know if it'll be the actual missions or the mission cards, because I think either one of those is enough to fill up a whole episode and has enough to talk about. So I'm going to split that up over 2 episodes, and I'll do one half of it, then I'll do the Sisters review, and then the week after that, I'll do the other half of the missions. Because, baby's got to put out that content. I got to pace myself.
Much content.
Pace myself. I was explaining to one of my patrons that I'm grateful that I've got 4 weeks where I don't have to invent, content worth making, because that's one of my. I never want to put out content for the sake of it. I always want it to be poignant, something worth listening to. But my man, we're out of here. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that review, and get ready for some uprising. Hopefully it's an exciting time out there playing. So what I think is going to end up being a bunch of really fun SKU lists at the very least for Genestealer cults, because unfortunately I don't think it's going to be rocking at the top of the meta, unfortunately. But we will see you on the other side. If not, see you in a couple of days. Say good night, Dusty.
Good night, Dusty.
Thank you for listening to Art of War Down Under, a content review podcast for Warhammer 40K. hosted by Adam Camilleri, produced by Seamus Ronan. Enjoyed the show? Want your lists reviewed and the content you heard put into practice? Sign up to our Patreon and connect with us online or on Facebook. Just search for Art of War Down Under. Signing out from tomorrow.